The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We have with us on the line Tom Ferris from Alliance, who's going to do a brief introduction to company and to Siklu. And after that, he's going to be joined by Danny from Siklu, who's going to do the main presentation today. Thanks again for joining us. Tom?
Good morning. Yes, thanks. Thank you, Lisa. Good morning, everybody. My name is Tom Ferris. I'm the director of the USA Broadband Program at Alliance Corporation. What I'm going to do today is going to give you a couple of brief slides on Alliance, and then we'll turn things over to Danny. So the reason we're here today is we're here to talk about Siklu, ultra-high frequency products. We've been engaged with Siklu now pretty much from the beginning when they started up about 4+ years ago. It's an exciting product. It pretty much turned the whole 70-80 gig industry on its ear, changed the dynamics of the entire pricing structure of the industry as well. And Siklu was able to come out with a very high quality product which pretty much rocked the short distance, high capacity world out there, and they continue to do so. Like I said, we've been working with them since the beginning. Personally, I've sold several hundreds of these radios so far to a variety of different vertical markets, including wireless internet service providers, intelligent traffic networks, security surveillance networks, you name it. We've been able to put this product in every different type of application out there for short haul, high capacity communication. So I've always been very excited about it. I continue to be. We stock this product in large quantities and we move them regularly. So we're here to support everybody on the call afterwards with any questions, any pricing questions, as well as we have a full stock and inventory of Siklu's complete product lines. So just to give you a little bit of background about Alliance, if you don't know who we are today, we are a wireless distribution company. We operate in several different countries in our hemisphere here, including Canada, the United States, and Mexico. We provide a variety of different products on both the wireless and the wireline side of the business. We also have products that match up in the IDAS and ODAS vertical markets. And we're a supply chain vendor at the end of the day. We do provide a lot of logistics support out of our several warehouses throughout the Americas. To get more specific, we've got a world-class product assortment. We have extensive inventory with most of the vendors that we recommend. We have personalized expert assistance. Most of the people who work at Alliance, who are in the sales department, have been around for more than 10 years. Personally, I've just clicked off my 8th year here at Alliance, and I've been in the wireless industry for over 20 years. We provide both pre- and post-sales technical support, including on-site training. We try to be independent. You'll see some of our product lines do overlap, and that gives us the ability to provide the best value and the best product and match that up with the customer requirements. And as I said earlier, we have warehouses throughout the United States, Canada, and Latin America. On the technical services side of our business, we provide a variety of things that might be helpful to you. We provide microwave path licensing for licensed microwave and 70-80 gig products in Canada and United States. We also assist you with network design. So if you come to us with a topology, we'll help you figure out what kind of radios you might need, what frequencies you might need, what type of antennas you might need, what type of coverage areas you might need if you're working on a multi-point product. We also do product pre-configuration in our warehouse facilities, so we have a technical staff on board who can configure, get everything up to latest firmware, load IP addresses, load software keys, load feature keys before the radio comes out to your premise. And we also do site kitting, so if there's cabinets or any other type of material that needs to be kitted before it goes out to a site, we can assist you there as well. Another part of our business is towers. We both sell and design towers. We represent a variety of different manufacturers, so we have a lot of choices for you. And we also provide Tier 1 and Tier 2 technical support, as well as RMA support for many of our vendors. Just to give you a couple of brand names and a couple of different types of broadband radio products that we represent today. We have a variety of different products for backhaul and transport, point-to-point, point-to-multipoint, licensed and unlicensed, mesh, outdoor Wi-Fi, WiMAX, and as I mentioned earlier, towers, AC, DC, UPS products, and all the other ancillary products that go into supporting all these lines. And if you notice, and if you have some idea about our industry, these are some of the top logos in our business today. including Siklu, Redline, Dragonwave, Ruckus, Rad, and on the electrical side, folks like Alpha, Eaton, and Solus Energy. I'd like to thank everybody for coming on today. Here's just some of our information. We do have a YouTube channel. All these webinars are recorded, so if you have to drop off or if you have a friend out there who wants to see it, send them our link, and you can check us out on YouTube. With that, I'll turn it over. Go ahead, Danny. It's all you.
Hi, Tom. I'll just show my application. So thank you very much for this opportunity to present Siklu and its product. My name is Danny Ben Simchon. I'm Siklu's product marketing manager. And as Tom mentioned, we are a long-term partner with Alliance, and honored to be served by the Alliance by bringing our products to the market. So I'm going to talk about millimeter wave radios today, actually Siklu's millimeter waves operating in the 60, 70, 80 gigahertz products. We can see here the first picture, our 60 gigahertz product, which is the EH600, and our 70, 80 gigahertz product, which are the EH1200 series. So what is a millimeter wave? It's actually 17 gigahertz of spectrum, very high frequencies, as you can see, above around 60 to 80 gigahertz. Each subband is continuous. The high frequency enables implementation of very narrow beams, which is ideal for point-to-point communication. And the frequency licensing is simple and affordable, sometimes it's even for free. And with such a vast spectrum and narrow beams and high frequencies, you can easily get predicted performance and reliable operation. So V-band is 7 gigahertz of spectrum around 60 gigahertz, and E-band is two parts of 5 gigahertz or two subbands of 5 gigahertz around 70 and 80 gigahertz. A few words about Siklu. As Tom mentioned, actually we did a revolution in the millimeter wave market. Before Siklu entered the market, a wireless system that are operating over those frequencies were almost non-affordable to telcos, or for sure not for ISPs. And we invented the silicon chips, a series of them, to enable both reduction of prices and footprint, and also enabled very high resiliency and reliability thanks to the reduced number of components. So what set us apart? We have a complete line solution for street level, which is the V-band 60 gigahertz solution, E-band for rooftops that go longer distances. We have the smallest and most affordable gigabit capacity wireless unit for any short-haul connectivity scenarios, and there are here a list of applications. In terms of track records, we already won deployment with tier 1 operators globally. There are many patents filed based on our technology. We have a US-based sales and support, and Alliance is in the front in terms of delivering the systems. And we are backed by blue chip and strategic investors. For example, I can mention Qualcomm, and there are many others, or some others, excuse me. In terms of execution timeline, our chip was invented in 2010. The first radio that operated over the E-band 70-80 gigahertz frequencies was released in 2011, in mid-2011. It utilized TDD modulation. We won the first operators deployment in Russia in 2012. 2013, the FDD variant of the same product was released, and we started to grab operators from other continents. 2014, we launched the world's smallest V-band radio, and it's still up to date, the smallest and the most advanced in terms of performance and reliability. And later this year, in Q4, we will launch the 2 gigabit version of the 1200 series. It will be 2200 series radio, and this will enable our customer to further expand the capacity that they deliver over wireless. There were many questions about regulations for North America and Mexico. So I gathered all the information, all the basic information here. In terms of E-band, it's allowed both in the US and in Mexico. Currently, regulation process is done for Canada. I cannot commit for a date. We are in close relationship with the Industry Canada Institute. We were a part of the regulation spec that they did. We contributed technical documents for them and helped them to write the specs, but still there is no date for releasing it. As for V-band, it's license-free in the US and in Canada, and currently closed in Mexico. So for Canada, Siklu is a assured, certified product. You can use it everywhere. No need for special license, and no limits in terms of the place you can install or the distance that you want to leverage it. When you go to install a wireless radio today, I think I gathered most of the questions that you probably ask yourself when you choose the optimal spectrum to utilize your radio. So I gathered all the affordable frequencies that are open or available today, and listed some basic information about them. We can see the 5 GHz, which is very popular among wireless ISPs and security surveillance network. But the issue with that it's not continuous, limited spectrum, and it's heavily used even by residential and other business solution like outdoor Wi-Fi. So it's not a long-term and real reliable solution. There is the 24 gigahertz option. It has even a smaller available spectrum. Actually, one system operating at 24 gigahertz occupies the whole spectrum. It's unlicensed and free to use. And its current utilization is, I called it semi-mid utilization, but again, in terms of scalability, if you want to deploy several links in the same location, serving, let's say, in a star topology, you will face some issues with that. Then we go to millimeter wave. On the 60 gigahertz, you have 7 gigahertz of continuous spectrum, almost not being used today. It's unlicensed, it's free to use, and it gives an optimal solution for urban environments. Another solution for urban environments is the 7080. It has two subbands of 5 gigahertz each, and it lightly licensed. I'm talking about USA. In Mexico, it's for free, unlicensed, and coordinated and very affordable. It's $75 per 10 years in the USA, and you gain the coordination from the FCC. So we say that our solution, and this is the way they were designed to be the easiest gigabit radios that you can deploy. All our solutions are a single box that include the antenna, It has integrated switch, so you don't need to deploy another box. You don't need to go to high modulations in order to reach high capacity or gigabit capacity. All channels are on the same part numbers, so stocks are very easy to have. And the 60 gigahertz solution already have PoE out to power cameras or access points for Wi-Fi. So when we talk about millimeter wave, we are talking about a scenario where there are no more overlap channel scenario, because each channel can enable full capacity of the radio that you want to deploy, and there are many channels, as we will see. So here we can see the 60 gigahertz band, which starts at 57 and ends at 64. And Siklu's 60 gigahertz solution, the 600T, have or enable the operator to choose from 8 channels along this band. And actually, it's the only product in the market that has 8 channels, all in the same hardware. And that enables you to think what will be the scalability when you want to deploy it in a dense urban environment. Here are some overview of selected customers around the world. We can see customers from Russia, North America, Europe, and even, for example, from Korea. Yes, Korea, the land of fiber, and this is one of the major operators there, and they are leveraging Siklu because digging for fiber or trenching for fiber is not always possible in a dense urban environment. So one of the main benefits of millimeter wave is interference-free operation, and this is thanks to the narrow beams or pencil beams antenna that enables multiple link deployment in close proximity. If you recall the first picture from the presentation, so that was a real installation scenario, and there is no effect on performance or reliability even when you deploy them in such proximity. We have here comparison between 60 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. The small unit from Siklu that delivers 60 gigahertz service, the EH600, has a 2.5 degrees beam. Although it's so small, with such small antenna over millimeter wave, you can achieve narrow beams. And we can see here the difference in the area that is being occupied by one beam. And if you deploy a 70-80 gigahertz solution, the beam is even narrower. It's less than 1 degree. So this gives some example or enables to imagine how much reuse can be done by millimeter wave products. Another benefits of the very high frequencies is the wavelengths. The wavelengths are very short, and when you have a short wavelength, the Fresnel zone or the Fresnel clearance zone is much narrower, and the chances of interference from objects, either stationary or moving objects, is becoming significantly lower. So talking about installation in close proximity, this is a real example. This is a 50-foot tall tower in the UK. You can see this is the whole tower placed on top of a building and serving the business districts of the city of Leeds. So this operator designed this tower to accommodate 60 Siklu links, and those are the pictures taken in the first installation. We have here a picture showing the dimension of the radios. Again, this is the 60 gigahertz solution, the smallest in the market, and it includes 3 gigabit ports inside this enclosure and the antenna. And this is the 1200 series E-band. with a 31 centimeter or 1 foot antenna. It's also possible to have it with a 2 foot antenna, the same ODU. Sometimes, in order to be fast and reactive to the market need, competitive, it's not so easy to get the permission to install the radio outside your building. So some operators, or some integrators, in this case in the UK, found some creative way. It's possible to install the system even indoor. There are no ventilators or anything that does, or fans that does noise. The system radiation is minimal. The footprint, you saw how small it is. So this is an office. This is a church tower that the system was hidden inside. This is an overview of the whole EtherHaul product family from Siklu. We can see here the 1200 with the 1 foot antenna and the 2 foot antenna and the 600. We are the only vendor on the market that has both TDD and FDD product. TDD stands for time division multiplexing, and the capacities are aggregated. You can deploy it either in a symmetric mode. In this case, for this product, for example, it will be 350 each direction, or you can configure it to operate in asymmetric mode according to the traffic behavior. We have also FDD products that can do 1 gigabit full duplex, and later this year we'll release the 2200 FX for that can deliver 2 gigabit full duplex. You have some information about the number of ports, either copper or fiber, and the antenna size options. The first 3 products here are intended basically to all application expect telecom. Telecom requires synchronization and advanced OEM, and they are getting it over a special license and a little bit different hardware. And for any other application like broadband connectivity, business, or surveillance network, those products are sufficient, and the prices are significantly lower comparing to those two. The 600 is applicable for both business and telecom, and it's differentiated by licenses. I earlier mentioned the reliance, or how reliable is the solution. So we say that once you install a radio, we want to deploy and forget it. You want it to tick forever. So basically, the Siklu radios were designed from first place to enable 7 years MTBF. But after delivering almost 20,000 units, or even more up to date, to the market, we got statistics of how many units came back for RMA. And the actual numbers are even higher. They are over 80 years. This gives you some clue how reliable is the solution. The first application I'm going to talk about is security. And we are bringing a release or relief to the security market, going away from 5 gigahertz frequencies and using the vast spectrum of 5 millimeter wave. What we bring, what's the message? We enable real-time streaming with as little as a third of a millisecond latency. Such a latency enable cascading and meshing without any issues. And you can see here the small footprint comparing to today's solution. Another example of utilization over or implementation over a lightning pole in the UK. The footprint is minimal, very easy to install. The drivers what drives the operators to deploy it when they have poor video quality, intermediate service, network congestion, or insufficient capacity. Those are the common reasons that drive integrators and city console to move from 5 gigahertz and utilize the millimeter wave. Another implementation, in this case from Russia, you can still see how small is the footprint Siklu's 1200 series in this case, comparing to standard camera. And this radio, this is the whole solution, one box solution, audio and radio combined, deliver a full gigabit capacity. So this is a summary of all the benefits for the security application, moving from lower frequencies to millimeter wave. We bring much more spectrum, much more capacity, at least twice reliability, at least a third of the footprint, one box solution. We'll talk later about how easy it to install, and significantly lower latency that enable a much higher level of cascading. I was about 2 months ago, I think, in the US and was talking to integrators that are doing a project for a large police institute in the US. And one of the main issues with 5 gigahertz is when they cascade the system, they're very fast getting to a place when there is no more capacity. They need to climb to the nearest building in order to connect to fiber or higher capacity radio. And this delays or slow rollouts of a solution significantly. When you have high capacity and low latency, you don't need to go up to a building so often. You can cascade even 20 Siklu radios and still the capacity will be sufficient to deliver dozens of HD videos without any issues of delay. This is another implementation for CCTV, in this case in the outdoors in Japan, and you probably can assume how tough it is to pass reliability of a product in order to enter the Japanese market. But again, the Japanese actually were amazed by the reliability of a Siklu solution and the small footprint. They wanted something that will be easy to install in public parts, that will not be with large antennas and will deliver high capacity. And Siklu was the chosen solution. This is an example of implementation for city security network in Texas in the USA, connecting city hall and police department. And this is with the larger 60 centimeter or 2 feet antenna. Another security project was done in Newcastle, UK. More than 30 Siklu links were deployed to aggregate dozens of surveillance cameras, and are actually replacing list lines of fiber. They came to conclusion that the encryption and the predicted performance that Siklu brings to the market, combined with the high capacity, is a much more affordable solution, and the ROI is visible with less than 3 years to move away from list fiber services and to go to the new generation of security network over millimeter wave. And talking about installation in city areas, we say that fiber is the best solution, but not always competitive in terms of time to market and ROI. So actually we help operators that have fiber to expand their footprint in a very profitable way. Another example of installation in North America, in New York. We can see here the system is capable of smooth operation also in heavy snow conditions without any issues. The antenna radome is covered with a special material that disable the snow to stick to it, and the system continues to operate smoothly. It has a very wide range of operating temperature. talking about expanding a fiber footprint in a profitable way. This is a simple solution. You have fiber on one building. The investment that you did in order to reach this building become even much profitable when you expand it over wireless to nearby building. And in this case, you enable to expand with low risks, because if you'll find that this building, for example, is not profitable or the customer moved away to another place, you simply take the Siklu product. It's very easy and small. You can deploy and de-deploy it in within a few hours and move it to another building and get profits from there. Another example of a fiber extension, this time not from a building, from a street cabinet. You can see an operator that expanded his footprint with Siklu. And one of the hottest outdoor solutions today is Wi-Fi. You don't know where you are going to need to install it. It will be on the roof or on the street level, but for sure you need a peak performance. You need to deliver high capacity, and today's newest AC series of access points for Wi-Fi actually enable a parallel operation of both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz frequencies for the end user, for the customer surfing with their laptops, tablets, or telephone, and leaves almost no space for backhauling over Wi-Fi. And in this case, Siklu come into action. So this is an example of implementation in Seaport of Baltimore, again in the US. This is the 60 gigahertz from Siklu, Rocus Wi-Fi, and this is the optimal solution for wireless connectivity. We have here testimonials from a customer. Actually, take a look and see that the 60 gigahertz radio is even smaller than the Wi-Fi access point, and of course has much higher capacity. And this is why Rocus decided to partner with Siklu. If you go to Rocus website and you go to the partners zone or area over there, you see that the only wireless cooperation that they have, it's with Siklu. We don't do Wi-Fi, we do backhaul. And they came to a conclusion that at the era when both 5 and 2.4 gigahertz is used for access for customers, for end users, millimeter wave is the optimal wireless solution to deliver Wi-Fi for long term. This is an event in the UK. It's an event that most of it takes place in France, Tour de France, but every year it starts in the UK. Last year it started in Leeds, and the operator that was responsible for the communication services was Virgin Media Business. They ran about 10 weeks trial, testing several systems from several vendors and technologies. And the trial was done during the winter at the English rains. And they even installed next to Siklu radio a weather station that recorded the weather in terms of wind velocity and rain intensity, and correlated it with the actual performance that Siklu engineers predicted that will be. So we are not a magician. We have a link budget tool, I will show it later, that enables you to predict what will be the performance throughout the year when you deploy Siklu Link. So those are the actually poles that the system was deployed. We can see here a pole that other vendors were tested, but at the end of the day, Siklu was selected to deliver the service at the D-Day. This is the network topology, and 45,000 spectators came to the launch of the Tour de France in 2014. It happened in Leeds, again next to the City Council building. And this is the day. You can see people today are coming with their smartphone, most of them taking picture or videos, delivering all over the world and receiving from others. There are lots of traffic. We can see from Siklu's GUI the traffic but the links deliver 48 gigabit of data within less than 2 hours. That's before and around the lunchtime, the lunch of the race. And actually they didn't even get to the maximum capacity of Siklu because we were overkill comparing to what the Wi-Fi could deliver. Going from Wi-Fi to business services, when you want to serve business companies, you don't know where you need to stretch your network. So for sure, wireless is the easiest way to bring a service everywhere. And we can do it Gigabit. So those are some examples. This is from Scotland, the university campus that is being connected with Siklu. This is from the US, a data center from Vivint. And here we have a testimonial by a guy called Andrew from ID Security. And he's so expert with installing Siklu link today that he can install a 3-kilometer link in 10 minutes. Even our tech support guys are not so expert as he is.
So Danny,
yeah.
I think what we're seeing here, guys, I mean, there's a lot of examples here, but what we're seeing is there's high capacity being pushed farther and farther out to the edge of the networks on a variety of different mounting surfaces. In the past, you really couldn't do this with too many high capacity radios just because of the size and the bulk and the sensitivity of these products. What you're seeing with Siklu is between the 60 gig EH600 and the 70 gig EH1200 platform, you can put these things virtually anywhere and provide the amount of capacity you need to backhaul any type of edge device. I mean, that's the significance here. I mean, we're putting these things on tiny little street lamps that, you know, if you ever seen these things in a windstorm, these things blow around a bit, but these radios can still maintain sync, and they're also not adding a lot of wind load to these structures either because of their size. So these products are revolutionary in their market space.
Thank you, Tom. So another testimonial crossing the Atlantic going to New York. This is Brent from Rainbow Broadband. As he is using Siklu for a few years already. And this is what he had to say. We have more testimonials. One of the famous one is from Hurricane Sandy. As Tom said, the Siklu mounting bracket and radio with its footprint are designed for very high wind loads, and the size enable it to withstand very tough weather conditions. So again, based on a pre-calculation that was easily done with the link budget calculator, we could expect what would be a weather condition even in hurricane condition, like Hurricane Sandy. And this company, Meridian Microwave, was the integrator that supplied a large banking institute in New Jersey solution based on Siklu. And the customer was so happy because he didn't lose even a bit during Hurricane Sandy, thanks to the Siklu link that continued to operate. We have more example of tough condition. The system were tested even in monsoon season in India, and recently our links operating at the winter storms of San Francisco in last December also continued to operate smoothly. We have some screenshots from the link budget calculator. With your permission, I will give you an example live.
Go ahead, Danny, that would look nice.
Can you see now the link budget calculator?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so it's very easy. Let's see what you need to do. First, you choose the radio that you want to deploy. For example, let's take the 1200 FX. You choose the antenna size. As I said, there are two options, 43 and 50 dBi. This is a example there. You can even deploy on one side 50 and the other side 43. And after that, this is the default TX power. You don't need to mess with that. Only in short links, when you don't want to transmit the maximum power, you can reduce it. You choose the link distance. Let's say, for example, 1500 meters. You can do it also in miles if you want. And that's all. You either can choose the range zone or city. I will stay with range zone here. It's quite tough. And this is the outcome. So first you get the expected RSSI. This is the actual reading that you are expecting while you do the alignment of the radio. We will talk about it. Then you get what will be the capacity throughout the year with percentage of time for each capacity. So we can see this is a quite a short link that most of the time gets a full gigabit, and thanks to the adaptive modulation on heavier range, it reduces to 700, but still continue to deliver service. If we will extend the distance, let's say for 2.5 kilometers, we can see here that the capacity is getting lower in several minutes during the year. How much time? We can see here. The tool provide even this. We can see here that for 5 minutes during the year, there will be no service because we extended the reach beyond what the system is capable to deliver. But we can overcome that. We simply change the other side to 50 dBi antenna. Let's run the calculation again, and we can see that even in such a tough condition, the system still can deliver a service at least 20 megabits, and this is QoS based. It will prioritize the higher priority service during this 5 minutes of the year, and the rest of the time you will get a full gigabit capacity. Another great feature of the link budget tool, let's do calculation with the 60 gigahertz solution. Let's say we need to deploy in a city. You can choose anywhere. Let's choose something in the US. For example, Miami. You know, Miami has lots of range also. But for distances that you deploy 60 gigahertz, it's almost nothing. And let's see. So one of the features, let's say you have a project with several links that operate in, it's on the street, so it's not just one distance, there are many distances. We can do steps of distance. We can start the minimum distance, let's say it's 100 meters, and the maximum distance, let's say it's 700 meters. And we want to see what will be the performance in steps of 100 meters between each step. And we run the calculation. In this case, what the tool does, it gives you for each capacity, or excuse me, for each link length, what will be the capacity throughout the year, what is the expected capacity at that time. So I assume this is a quite intuitive and easy to use product. And it, of course, preloaded by us with the exact spec of our system. You can, instead of city, you can even enter the exact lat long data for the place you want to install. And if I'll choose here, you can see that I can move the radio around the city, in this case in Miami. And the distance will change accordingly, automatically, and the lat long also will be changed based on the place that I move it, or I can enter the numbers and it will appear automatically on the map. So this was the link budget calculator. I will switch back to PowerPoint. So you decided to deploy Siklu, hopefully. And what do you need to install it? How simple it is? So you have two boxes of ODUs, one for each side. You need to get the expected RSSI. We just talked about it with the link budget calculator. You go there. For in this case, the number was 42. Just need to know the number. You bring minimal toolkit. Those are all the tools that you need in order to install Gigabit service with Siklu. And don't forget also a voltmeter. Lay out the outdoor cable. We don't supply the cable, but we give you cable glands that are IP67 shield. So just bring the cable. You don't need to clamp the RJ45 connector on the field. Bring the cable. As you can see in the picture, our glands are capable of accommodating the cable with the connector, so the installation is faster, easier, and much more safer because RJ45 connectors that are being installed in a factory are much more reliable than one that you clamp in the field. And it's all IP67 sealed. So this is everything you need in order to install a Siklu link. You need the Siklu itself, the cable, minimal tools, and pre-knowledge with the link budget calculator. We just demonstrated how easy it is to get the number. This is an example of the cable gland that we supply. You don't need to buy it separately. It's a one-box solution. This is with the cable. You see how small is the system on the, in this case, a telecom tower. The switch is integrated. We saw before some pictures, examples of a system with the multiple port connected. We supply the gland. You don't need any proprietary accessories, and you can even service the customer without laptop. So basically, you have the RSSI value. You do the alignment with your voltmeter. We can see here behind the voltmeter connected directly. No need for special cable. The Siklu has special hooks, special sockets that are standard and compatible with standard hooks of a voltmeter. You put your voltmeter, you do the alignments. The mounting brackets include two special screws for alignment. So you use one of the tools I showed before to move the screws. And once you reach the expected RSSI, all you have to do is restart the system, and the system is up and running, delivering full capacity out of the box. Automatically, it's aware of QoS, so if your packets are marked with QoS bits, it will honor those marking. And once the adaptive modulation get into operation because of a rain condition, again, it will be QoS aware and will enable the higher priority traffic to continue operation. If you want, the system also have a very friendly, user-friendly HTML GUI. No need to install any software on your computer. All you need is to log in with your browser. This is another tool that is being supplied inside the box. It's a monocall, enables you to easily do the alignment. And this is the GUI I was talking about. You have wizards that enable you to do simple operation without forgetting anything. You can see both ends of the radio on the same screen and configure both of them. For example, I configure a frequency on one side. All I have to do is copy to remote. I don't need to configure again on the other side. This is the same for all parameters. For IP address, I can put several IP addresses up to 4 in the same system to enable multiple entities to manage the radio, and to each one I can give different privileges. So the web GUI is very intuitive. Anyone can use it, but still, it's not a must. You can simply do the alignment with the voltmeter, restart the system, it's up and running. This is an option if you want to configure a management address or you want to enable additional services like SNMP sampling from another system. But basically, the system can be deployed even without configuration. We have now a special promotion with Alliance until the end of this month. You will get a free additional 12 months warranty on top of the first 12 months that you get with the price. And for the 600, the small products, as you can see here, you get even additional 10% discount from the quoted price. So basically, this is it. I'm here to answer any additional questions. And thank you, Tom and Lisa, for this opportunity to present Siklu.
Thank you, Danny. I have a couple of questions. The first one I wanted to address to Andy Moss, who is Alliance's RF engineer. And the question is regarding Industry Canada policy regarding the use of the 600T plus maximum distance implemented by actual customers.
Okay, so Siklu is got permission from ISC West. The product is certified. There is no limitation in terms of maximum distance. There are technical limitations from us, from Siklu, not from Industry Canada, because Industry Canada limit the maximum transmit power. We are much lower than the maximum. We don't need to go to maximum because of our enhanced receiver with very sensitive receivers. The system, the EH600 maximum distance is 1 kilometer.
Okay, thanks. That's great. And then there was one question that was somebody just asked, and the question is, if the air interface is Gigabit, is the air interface Gigabit because you're using UTP Cat5?
Okay. So first, in terms of the air interface, in order to deliver Gigabit, we don't take gigahertz of spectrum. The current products need 500 megahertz of spectrum, and the new product, the 2200, needs 250 megahertz of spectrum in order to deliver Gigabit, and with 500 megahertz, it delivers 2 gigabit. I don't really understand the second part of the question. How is that related to Cat5? Over each Cat5 cable, we can deliver 1 gigabit. I hope this answers the question.
Yeah, hopefully if it doesn't, whoever asked it, you can ask it, just send me an email. There were a lot of questions that people asked when they register. I do believe you covered them all. There were quite a few about rain fade and distance related to using the E-band, a lot about link budgets. So I believe we covered them all. I just want to make a note to let everyone know, as Danny mentioned, this webinar is recorded, and so I will be posting a link so that you can watch it later or share it with your colleagues. As well, if you want a copy of the PowerPoint, Danny is going to share it with me so that we can send it out. So just send us an email to let us know you'd like a copy.
Yes, I can add on top of that, with your permission, Lisa, that the link budget calculator has inside the database from ITU that actually collected the rain statistics from all over the world, and the results that you are getting when you design a link, just like I showed, are taking into account the rain throughout the year.
I do see we just received one question. I'm not really sure if you're going to have the answer to this one. We might have to take this one offline. What's the longest 600T link that's actually been tried in Canada?
I'm not sure about Canada.
We'll take that offline, Dan.
But I can give another example not so far away from there. The link that withstood the winter storm in San Francisco, which was flooded actually, and there were quite heavy rains, was operating at 730 meters, 730 meters link long, and continued to operate smoothly. It's actually during the rain dropped from 1 gigabit to 700 meg, but this is the whole effect that was, and it was expected according to the calculation that we did in advance.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, thanks again. And like I said, I'll be sending out a follow-up email with links to the presentation. And if anyone has any questions at all, please don't hesitate to send us an email, and I'll make sure that we get the right answer for you. And thank you, Danny, and everyone have a nice day.
Thank you, and have a nice day.
Thanks, Danny. Bye, everybody.